While bragging rights should be enough in an in-state rivalry today, some added implications, perhaps a season on the line in softball's version of the Battle of the Bayou. The Ragin' Cajuns are your hosts this week. Got to sleep in their own beds after a win over Troy last night. They stand in the way of your regular season champions, ULM, claiming their first regular season crown. But if they are going to claim a title and head to the NCAA tournament, they'll have to do it through Lafayette. You're watching the Sun Belt Conference on ESPN. It is our third quarterfinal on this busy Thursday with yet another game on the horizon. But all the eyes throughout the state on the Ragin' Cajuns and the Warhawks as they collide. Louisiana, the 8 seed, but your host this week in Lafayette, as ULM, a difficult path despite being the #1 seed if they want to advance to tomorrow's semifinal. Great to have you back with us with our continued live coverage here on ESPN Plus. Lincoln Rose along with Jenna Rose. And I mentioned, as if just simply having a rivalry matchup wasn't enough, one of these two teams' seasons could come to an end here today.
Most certainly, but I think if we learned anything from the previous matchup is that the numbers coming in, where the seeds are sitting, may not come into play here. Both teams are ready to put up some grit.
We've already seen a handful of upsets through these first day and a half here in Lafayette. Let's dive into a couple of the key players. The reason why the Ragin' Cajuns are still playing softball, brilliance in the circle yesterday from Sage Hoover, her first complete game all year. What timing it proved to be.
It most certainly did. 29 batters faced, and 9 of them were struck out. So kudos to Hoover, who kept them in this game from the circle, trusting the defense behind her and also getting the job done, incorporating that rise and continuing to change eye levels of the batters.
Able to keep the bats at bay along the way. Will she be able to cheer on her teammates to success today? A couple of Brown sisters in town in Monroe, specifically Morgan Brown, first team all-conference once again this year. You take a look at some of her incredible numbers, helping guide them to that elusive first Sun Belt regular season championship.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the second baseman in Morgan Brown. She's part of that all-Sun Belt first team, leads Sun Belt Conference in doubles, top 5 in triples. That just shows her speed when she's on the base pass. She's able to stretch out those singles and stretch out those doubles to continue to push the envelope.
Opening pitch when you rejoin us here on day 2 of the Sun Belt Softball Championship. The 2026 Sun Belt Softball Championship is brought to you by SoldOut.com, the official ticket resale marketplace for the Sun Belt Conference. By Visit Pensacola. Credit Union One. Discover better banking for all at CU1.com. Experience the new era of ticketing with Vivenue, the official ticketing platform of the Sun Belt. And by Visit Lafayette. Enter for a chance to win a getaway to Lafayette, Louisiana. Enter now at sunbeltsports.org. Just about set to go here at Lamson Park. Let's take a look at our keys to today's matchup, brought to you by Visit Lafayette.
ULM, they're on the hunt to have consistency while they are at the plate. They want to be a force to be reckoned with, especially against the Louisiana staff that has found some success, but they need to continue to limit scoring opportunities. Curious to see what happens as these two go head-to-head, and we're grateful that you're joining us here for the ride.
ULM swept Southern Miss the final weekend of the regular season to secure their first regular season crown in the Sun Belt. It's their first conference championship since members of the Southland back in 1997. So what's their reward as they pursue now an automatic bid and a sweep of the titles this year? Well, it just happens to be that the Ragin' Cajuns are hosting this week, and this is the lineup they'll be dealing with, including several all-conference standouts and this year's Freshman of the Year, and Haley Hart right in the heart of it all.
Ragin' Cajuns, they know how to cause some chaos when they are on the base path, so eager to see what happens as they continue to get bats firing.
Ashanti McDade gets the starting nod in this first game of the week for ULM. We've already seen the number 2 seed see their run come to an end earlier today. Marshall was shut out by Coastal Carolina, who's looking to repeat this year. Last year's tournament champions over at Troy when they hosted. You see the numbers for McDade and the defense that surrounds her. Kelsey Kovar completes the battery. Yansky and Carter on the left side of the infield. Morgan Brown and Vagrant on the right side. Platt, Lippard, and Megan Brown out in right. A great test here early on for Ashanti McDade. First team all-conference pitcher, the transfer from Cal, who was actually recruited out of high school from Denton, Texas, from the Dallas-Fort Worth area to ULM, but opted to head west.
For the Cajuns, we see Marceau trying to work early there in the box, attacking the first pitch. For Ashanti McDade, she has incredible arm side run. She's going to run into the hands hard for right-handed bats, try to work outside there against left-handed bats.
Marceau, 2 hits and a walk yesterday, gets this one over to Yansky and retired for just the second time in 2 days.
Like we said, against right-handed bats, she's going to work them inside on the hands, try to jam them up, and that's what she does with Marceau, incurring the out.
Understandably, yesterday the loudest game involved Louisiana, their win over Troy. Now that'll be exponentially louder today as both teams hail from right here in Louisiana. Here's Mia Liscano. She put down a bunt for a single in the first inning yesterday, would wind up going 2 for 3 with a run scored. And Liscano is part of a lineup where the top 4 hitters are all conference this year. Liscano's second team out of Austin, Texas.
Well, Liscano in this Louisiana lineup is going to have to remember here that is that McDade works very fast when she's in the circle. She's going to try to control the tempo, get you off your rhythm and timing, so don't be shy if you need to call time.
Liscano stepped up this year at shortstop, sliding over when Cecilia Vasquez had that foot injury. Of course, Vasquez has since stepped back in to the lineup as a DP. We'll see her scheduled to bat 5th in the order. Here's the 1-2 to Liscano with 1 out. Could be a little disorienting for the Ragin' Cajuns because even though they're hosting, they are in the visitors' dugout at their own venue here at Yvette Girard Field, Lamson Park. Right up the middle off the pitcher McDade. They'll still get a throw over, but not in time. It's an infield single for Liscano. Looks like McDade's going to be okay.
Liscano eyes that one up and is able to rocket it back up the middle. Hard for McDade to get a mitt down on. It's going to send the ball across the infield there, but gets the job done. We got a runner aboard here for Louisiana.
Yeah, you're always going to pay a visit to your pitcher, even though it didn't seem to phase her. Molly Fichtner, 8th year at the helm. What a job she has done, including last year they went into the final weekend with a chance to claim that first regular season crown that ultimately eluded them a year ago. This year, mission accomplished for that regular season crown. They set a program record for conference wins in the Sun Belt last year. They upped that this year with 19, going 19-5 this year. Those 19 wins proved to be enough to be the #1 seed this week. They clinched at least a share of the regular season crown with their second game. And of course, that opposite dugout, Allison Habits, who's now coaching her alma mater, Louisiana. She's already in the Hall of Fame for her time as a 2-sport athlete, an All-American on the diamond, scored over 1,000 points on the hardwood with the women's basketball team, but helped lead the Ragin' Cajuns to that 1993 Women's College World Series. And Brooke Otto hit by pitch. 2 on with 1 out.
On a stage like this, you'll take that free pass any way that you can, so she'll proudly wear it. Now runners aboard.
Right off the tricep. Big stage for the freshman, Haley Hart. The 11th freshman of the year that Louisiana has had in the Sun Belt. Comes up with 2 on and 1 out. You see the numbers for her this year. What a debut in the Division I level. Only third base unoccupied with Liscano there on second. Her 1 out single. Brooke Otto was hit by a pitch 60 feet behind her at first.
This is a good matchup here for ULM when they were thinking about what arms they wanted in the circle. I'm sure a focal point of their plan is how they would tackle Haley Hart. And as we mentioned, for Ashanti McDade on righty, she really likes to run in hard at the hands. And for Hart with her hands up high, it's a little hard to get around to something close and in the zone.
These two played their series at the end of March. Again, all 3 games going to ULM in Monroe. Here's your second out. Morgan Brown able to secure it. Keep the runners right where they were.
Briefly grazed over the mechanics, a hard swing. Her hands are up high, so easy for McDade to do what she does best and try to run it in high.
Here is Cecilia Vasquez, who's kept her bat in the lineup despite the foot injury as the DP. Able to get around on that one. She's the only 4th-year senior for Louisiana. Had her birthday a couple days before the tournament started this week. That foot looked pretty good when she was extending a double into 3 bases. As a chance to get out of the inning here, they do. ULM will post a 0 in this rivalry clash in the top half of the first. Warhawks will look to bring their bats to the plate for the first time as your reigning regular season champions. Warhawks hoping to strike first. The Sister Act will be due up. As so often, Megan and Morgan Brown go back to back. Just when you think you've won a battle against one, you've got another one, and you start to question your own sanity. Molly Fichtner, your back-to-back head coach of the year here in the Sun Belt Conference. Has a regular season crown to show for it on her resume now. Bethany Noble became Bethany Noble King in January. So already has 1 ring. Would like to add another by the end of the spring. Pride of Amarillo, Texas. You see her numbers this year. As boy, if they can get anywhere close to what they got from her teammate yesterday in the circle, might be playing in the semifinals tomorrow again. Marceau joins her along with Otto, Lascano, Hart, and Manning. Norwood, Williams, and Ferguson. Just a couple changes from what we saw yesterday, including Ferguson out there in right field.
Bethany Noble, she comes in clutch during those really tight situations. She can manage traffic well and also will generate a lot of fly balls. So interested to see how she continues to pummel the strike zone here today, but so far we've got an 0-2 count.
Brooklyn Lippert, the junior, a real catalyst for this offense. Last year, first team all-conference in the Sun Belt. Will find herself behind on the count 1-2. Lippert's among the players who opted to graduate high school early. You know, skip out on prom, everything else, all the senioritis. You begin your college career a year younger than most, already a junior now. And just fighting off pitches early on here from Noble. And Megan Brown and Morgan Brown on deck. Both of them were all conference this year, along with the starting pitcher, Ashanti McDade for ULM. The 1-2 from Noble. And over into foul territory. They'll just run out of space. That being Mia Norwood trying to track it down. Of course, Norwood these days is in left field because the old left fielder Hart is over at second. We've seen a few teams with a bit of dominoes falling with one injured player, trying to figure out how to best then realign the defense. One-two to Lippert. That's a fair ball snagged by Otto off her shoelaces and one away.
Lippert really battling to stay alive there, is able to get her barrel on it. It's a hard chopper, but Otto just makes it look easy as if it's a routine play. Takes a shuffle to fire it down over there, and nice stab there by Manning over at 1.
And Sage Hoover had that brilliant complete game yesterday. But hey, at this rate, Bethany Noble King's gonna have a perfect game. Limited sample size. Here's Megan Brown. We mentioned the all-conference standout right fielder. Second straight year, all-conference. And she and her sister are from west of Houston, Katy, Texas, went to Tompkins High School. The twins identical, though not the same. That'll get through, whatever it takes. Megan Brown is on. As Haley Hart had it until she didn't.
Yeah, what Megan Brown does best is that she consistently puts hard balls in play. It was a tough one to make there. Hart maybe getting a little caught up in the speed, the way that it's skipping off the dirt, but that's why you continue to push through and beat out a throw or run all the way down to first.
That's not how home field advantage is supposed to work. The dirt conspiring against Hart. Here's Morgan Brown. She's the slightly more animated of the two sisters, but a real mature leader for this program. The redshirt sophomore, last year a freshman All-American. Been first team all-conference these last 2 years. Looking to add to those impressive numbers. Has sister on first base after the infield error.
Morgan Brown is going to leave that one downstairs. Has had a phenomenal season so far. Combines her average with some slugging and run production, so feels like a player that can do it all.
Time called. Again, last year the Warhawks went 14-10. They entered that final weekend with a chance for a piece of the regular season crown, but would settle for a tie for third. They would defeat Georgia Southern and then fall to JMU in the semifinal last year over at Troy. Those 14 wins were a program record in the Sun Belt. This year they blew by that, 19 wins to just 5 losses. And you're seeing double. This one is ripped down the line, but well foul. Again, Megan Brown on first. Morgan Brown at the plate, allegedly.
Allegedly. Should we remind everyone which Rose is at what position today at the desk?
I mean, even I'm not confident that I know. It's uncanny. 1 on, 1 out. The 2-2 to Morgan Brown. Out towards right, Ferguson again gets the start today in right field and comes through. No problem, 2 away.
Brown has been a consistent presence. She's able to send that one to the outfield with some pop, already ready to fire back in, but twin sister Megan Brown will stay at 1.
They'll bring up the redshirt freshman Olivia Thagard, a vocal leader for this group, who Molly Fickner swears she probably hears in her sleep. That voice just travels no matter how far away she is. She had never played first base before really this year, but steps in for the injured teammate Zinzin, who's back in the lineup as the DP and is on deck if Thagard can extend the inning here. Let's see if Louisiana can avoid having to pay for that infield error that has Megan Brown on first. Noble dialed in, throwing strikes to the cleanup hitter. Chance to get out of the inning. That ball will get out of play.
Noble is throwing exceptionally well here from inside the circle. You can tell she's really stayed ahead in the count. She's been lethal trying to sample different portions of the strike zone.
Bethany Noble, in her second year with Louisiana, really emerged early in the season, keeping the team in tight games, earning the trust of her coaches and teammates. Entrusted again in basically an elimination game here, single elimination format in the Sun Belt. The 1-2 to Thagard. Punches this one out towards right. It'll get down. Brown will just be able to advance 60 feet to second, but that extends the first inning with 2 on and 2 out. First base hit of the game belongs to Olivia Thagard.
Thagard keeps her eyes down on the ball and will send that with some power into right field. Nice liner, a little skip there from Hart to try to get her glove on it. But I like that Ferguson staying aggressive and right, receiving the ball, sends it over to 2.
They'll breathe in and breathe out. Here's Marissa Zinzin. Zinzin, it seems like each year has had obstacles thrown her way with some injuries, including much of this March. And yet, when you see her out there, never seems to have a bad day. Can be productive with 2 outs. Louisiana's going to strand a pair of Warhawks. That's how the first inning concludes. On to the top of the second, where the Raging Cajuns will still have a chance to hop in the driver's seat for a second straight day here in Lafayette. Well, of course, half our audience already knows this here at Yvette Girard Field at Lamson Park, of course, named after their legendary former head coach and sometimes color commentator on their broadcast. Pretty darn good. As you saw the dimensions and our weather conditions getting a little bit warmer today. We started today, believe it or not, in the 60s back at 10 a.m. with our first contest of the day. That was Texas State and JMU. Texas State with the comeback in that one. The only team to come back from a deficit so far this week early on. As this one, another ball shot right at McDade. This time the out will be recorded to retire Mia Norwood.
Coming in clutch with that play there. It was close up the middle. Hard ground ball, which always has an opportunity of getting through, but this defense is going to try to keep it clean and keep it tight.
Well, remember, when you're champion, you always have a target on your back, but in this case, Ashanti McDade appears to have a target on her front. Been hit a couple of times, but able to shake them both off. Here's Maddie Manning. She's one of the changes in the starting lineup today, your first baseman. Batting in the 7th spot. And Louisiana eliminating Troy in the 8-9 matchup yesterday. That is a foul ball as the home plate umpire's ball to rule on, and immediately their arms went up.
Manning trying to adjust quickly to that pitch that was on the inside part of the plate, able to get a piece of it, but that's going to trickle down and skip over the line. Looks as though that might have hit the glove.
Nope, just missed it.
Just missed it.
Wound up a couple inches wide of the base. So Norwood grounds out, Manning at the plate with nobody on. Both teams have stranded 2 base runners through 1 inning of play.
Talk about the bat speed for Manning, though. Every single time that's coming up and in, she's turning on it quickly. Not keeping it in fair territory, but still.
She's from West Monroe, Louisiana. First-year transfer from LSU. That's another team in the state. Up the middle. Brown over to Faggard, 2 away. In fact, what I love, you look at ULM's notes. They have every school, all of their opponents on their schedule listed by the school name. But when you get to their in-state rival, it doesn't say Louisiana, it says Ragin' Cajuns. They still believe they are the Louisiana. What we do know is they are the regular season champions this year, but nobody's won more tournament titles in this conference than the folks here in Lafayette. 18 times they've claimed the automatic bid. Up the middle again to Brown. 3 up, 3 down. Quickly back into that home dugout. Your regular season champions looking to double dip in titles, but first they'll need a win today, possibly ending the season for their rivals.
BK, ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv.
So all out-of-market games, live or on demand, plus all your favorite sports on ESPN. We need to tell the people, Carl.
We're doing it right now.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. All out-of-market games, live or on demand, all in one place.
The heart of Louisiana's Cajun and Creole country. A melting pot of generations, passing along a recipe of joie de vivre. Live music, boiled crawfish, and the smell of gumbo signify the season. This is Lafayette, a parish filled with culture and hospitality unlike any other. It takes more than a quick visit to understand why we're the happiest city in America. Start planning yours. Allons à Lafayette.
Credit Union One, a proud sponsor of the Sun Belt Conference, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking, and an expansive network of 130,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at CU1.com.
Regular season in the rearview mirror. As a result, we've already got your regular season Sun Belt Conference awards, including Molly Fichtner, your back-to-back head coach of the year. I think just having the job at ULM is enough for her. Talking to her, called it the best job in the country. Well, again, she's been recognized by her peers these past 2 years. Madison Azua, your pitch of the year. Burko has already seen her season come to an end. Marshall in the 2 seed quickly exiting earlier today, but one other award winner still factoring into things here, and that is your second baseman for Louisiana and Haley Hart. Freshman of the year again, 11th freshman of the year in the conference that Louisiana has boasted. As Yansky will get us started, the 6-hole hitter leading off here in the bottom of the second. It'll be Yansky, L. Carter, and Kelsey Kovar, the minimum 3 that Noble would have to face. Yansky, a freshman out of Hallettsville, Texas. Now, she arrived on campus letting everybody know that her childhood nicknames, again, since she was little, is Gator. It is her belief that her arms are a little shorter. She has embraced it, able to get the extension. Unfortunately, the arms for Lascano just long enough to collect that one on the fly.
Well, I appreciate the distinction that you clarified that Yansky feels that that's the case, but obviously she's getting to the ball very quickly, sending it with some pop over to the shortstop. Just Lascano, pesky mitt getting in the way to make the out.
Now to give way to L. Carter. Your shortstop for ULM. A junior, but still constantly asking questions. Trying to learn every day with her coaching staff. She has 7 family members who preceded her at ULM. And you get the feeling she probably won't be the last.
No, it just goes to show that a program can mean a lot to a family.
She is from Monroe. 2-0 offering will miss high, 3-0.
And to begin the bottom of the second here, Noble just is trying to dial it back into the strike zone. We saw that Yansky was able to get a really good rip on one of them, just a liner that went back to Lascano at short. Carter here working with a count she likes to see, 3 balls, no strikes.
Again, talking to Molly Fichtner this week. Obviously recognized single elimination, anything can happen, but some confidence because they have played everybody on this half of the bracket. Again, Sun Belt, too many teams to play them all during the regular season, but they're familiar with the path it would take to get into the championship on Saturday, including obviously their rivals here today. Molly Fichtner, who started her career at UTSA, wrapped up at Alabama. The 3-1 from Noble to Carter. And the count goes full.
It was fun seeing that live shot there of Coach Fichtner as well, sitting on the third base side, just cheering on, applauding her batters, proud that they were able to be selective with some of their pitches. Now they're starting to be aggressive. Someone that you can tell really cares about her players.
Looking to lead ULM to their 2nd ever NCAA tournament appearance. Tough hop, but Noble able to corral it 2 away. With nobody on.
Noble's going to be doing her best to keep the pitch count low. She's going to try to dial her way back into the strike zone here, taking a bit of a breather, I'm sure. Pulling out the towel there. It's a little warm, sounds like, with the weather here in Raging Cajuns territory.
Not everybody's in a room temperature press box. Climate controlled. Here's Kelsey Kovar, 8-hole hitter trying to extend this 2nd inning with her first plate appearance this week in the conference tournament. ULM last year again won their quarterfinal against Georgia Southern. We're exiting against JMU. With the 9-seed JMU on one half of the bracket, 7-seed Coastal Carolina last year on the other. And it was the Chanticleers who won the battle of who would fit into that glass slipper and punch their ticket into the NCAA tournament on behalf of the Sun Belt. We mentioned Marshall eliminated earlier today. Their RPI came into this week at 27, so they're pretty optimistic that they will still be playing softball here in 2026. Perhaps be one of a couple representatives out of this conference. Texas State had the second best RPI. They are still playing softball thanks to a comeback earlier today. And one of these two teams head back to the dance. 1-2.
Well, pressing the gas pedal early on in these games is going to be huge, even though for Texas State they were able to get the ball rolling in the latter half. I think it'd be nice between these two powerhouses to see who can get on first and cross the plate.
Kovar with 2 outs, nobody on. Talk about individuals who have long had the Warhawks on their radar. Even though Kovar's from Thorndale, Texas, and started off at Paris Junior College, she attended ULM camps in high school. Really seen her role grow this year. The 2-2 from Noble. This one pulled foul. Got out in a hurry.
We can see some of that pull side pop on display there, courtesy of Kovar, sending that one pretty deep out of play.
You imagine a lot of Louisiana fans like to sit behind their team's dugout, and they were wondering, wait, why are the Warhawks moving in? Backwards K in the books. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Beth Noble to get the Ragin' Cajuns back to the plate. They're looking to knock off number 1 here today.
Beth Noble also trusting the defense behind her first 2 at-bats right here, right now, able to locate.
To enter for a chance to win a getaway to Lafayette, Louisiana. You can enter now at sunbeltsports.org. Once again, great hosts here. So many meaningful games on this diamond over the years, not just within this rivalry, but obviously Ragin' Cajuns with their postseason success. 18-time tournament champions means every now and then getting to host a regional. Of course, this is a program for Louisiana that has been to 8 Supers, 6 Women's College World Series as well. And if they win the tournament title this year, boy, are they thrilled. They are hosting. They only won 3 games away from Lafayette this year, going 3-17, but here at home, 17 wins before yesterday. Here's Deja Williams with her first plate appearance against Ashanti McDade.
McDade, a stellar outing so far here, taking on this lineup in Louisiana.
You mentioned Deja Williams walked on to the program under the old regime, Jerry Glasgow, and then quickly started running. Great speed, great asset in the lineup. And she'll try to beat this one out, puts pressure on the defense, but the Warhawks able to execute. Morgan Brown.
Williams trying to utilize those wheels there, but unable to get down in time.
A good slap or a good bunt really putting the ball in the court of the defense, and that's just how close it was. Will they challenge it? That still might be a possibility here. Right now they're at the phase of good old-fashioned asking the umpires to come together to see if anybody saw something different. That's what you would rely on if before there was a review process. And she's just gonna be, when you said out, did you mean safe? Give you another look at home. Yeah, she's out. Not by much.
She does look like she is flying, though, even though it's slow-mo.
Out at first base, Louisiana would like to challenge that call. This play is under further review.
They will challenge. At the very worst, I think the umpires are going to say stands, if not confirmed with the strongest of language. Again, reviews are on site here in the Sun Belt. First challenge comes from Louisiana on a good old-fashioned bang-bang play.
Well, Williams has come up big in previous situations entering the tournament here. She has crossed home plate 35 times on her own. So they know if they're able to get a set of wheels like that here in play, they can make some motion.
Again, what's working against Williams is the fact that the initial ruling was out. So in this case, the tie would not go to the runner. The tie would go to the initial call. And it just seems like that ball is in the glove. I mean, a split second is as generic as we can get, but a split second before that foot gets on the second base there, the safety bag at first. But worth asking. Trying to set the table here in the third inning. And Allison Habits back on her own stomping grounds after, I mean, what a run she had as an assistant at Alabama. Of course, she knows Molly Fichtner quite well from that time. The two of them able to make it to Oklahoma City every now and then. And in fact, Allison Habits was an assistant on that 2012 National Championship squad. Hard to believe, 2012 Alabama, that was the first year SEC won a softball national championship. Obviously, we've never heard from that conference again on the national stage.
Right.
Except last year when they had 5 of the 8 teams in Oklahoma City. So right now, under review, Allison Habits challenging the ruling of out. Now, Allison Habits actually had a brief pro baseball career before getting back into coaching. We'll get the ruling here.
After further review, the call on the field has been confirmed. The runner is out at first base. That is Louisiana's first challenge.
Yeah, strongest of language there from Laura King. We'll head back out behind second base. They saw enough to conclusively determine that Williams was out.
This just goes to show that the Ragin' Cajuns want to ensure that they're getting runners on base. They know that this is the type of team where you have to get on and load up early.
Well, again, back to this run of all conference players, the top 4 in the lineup for Louisiana. And Kennedy Marceau grounded out to the left side back in the first inning, 0 for 1. Love a catcher who can bat lead off.
And Marceau's good energy to bring into the box. Of course, a little disappointed, I'm sure the Ragin' Cajuns are, that Deja Williams was not called safe when they took another look at that play there. But Marceau is someone who can make some magic happen.
She was the Gatorade Player of the Year here in the state of Louisiana. Now in her first year with Louisiana. Over the left side, Carter to Faggart in time, 2 up, 2 down.
Marceau there trying to pull that outside pitch in. Didn't get squared up the way that she normally does, and she has a good read on a pitch.
So 2 outs, nobody on, as Mia Lizcano has the only hit today for Louisiana. That's got to be unnerving again for Louisiana to see those Warhawks enjoying their dugout.
I'm sure it would feel like muscle memory starting to run back to your dugout and then having to go the other way.
Lizcano was stranded on second back in the first inning after her 1-out single. McDade hasn't relied on the strikeout She's trusted that defense behind her. They've come through. One and two. Lascano came over a couple years ago from Natchitoches, Louisiana with those Demons of Northwestern State. Lays off that one. Count 2-2. This inning still alive.
Kovar really tried to frame that one up, but I think at the end of the day there, you're going to do whatever you can to attempt to help out your arm.
Another chance to get out of the inning here. Full count with 2 outs, but again, you retired the first 2 batters this inning. So squarely focused on Lascano at the plate. Lascano gets the bat around on this one for a 2-out base hit. She has both of the Raging Cajun hits today.
What Mia Lascano is so phenomenal at is that she can adjust the plane of her swing to match where the pitch is. That one's coming in high and inside, and she can turn on it quick. That just shows her bat speed, her hand-eye coordination, truly possessing those enhanced bat-to-bat skills. That's what you see there.
So on to another former Southland Conference transfer, Brooke Otto, last year coming over from McNeese. She was hit by pitch back in the first inning. She'll return the favor, though, right at Yansky across the diamond, and twice now Lascano's been left on after singles for Louisiana. We are scoreless heading into the home half of the third. ULM, the #1 seed, heading back to the plate. Seven all-conference standouts between these two teams, including a handful on the first team. McDade, today's pitcher, along with Morgan Brown, of course, at second base for the Warhawks, your regular season champions. Kennedy Marceau, the backstop for the Raging Cajuns. And again, just incredible individual athletes, many of whom we've already seen. We'll see Hannah Christian for the first time later on today with Southern Miss going up against South Alabama. All right, now, bit of a pitcher's duel heading into the home half of the third. And on behalf of the Raging Cajuns, that arm belongs to Bethany Noble. As Karis Platt, the 9-hole hitter, comes to the plate for the first time.
Noble, as she continues to go out against this lineup, we've seen her start to incorporate more some of those off-speed pitches and really trying to elevate the eyes of the batters.
Mentioned ULM won all 3 meetings this year in Monroe. There are some rivalries around the country where if the two schools are close enough and they have a weekend series, they'll play 2 at one and 1 at the other, just to rile up both fan bases for at least one home game. But this is the next best thing if you're Louisiana after traveling to Monroe during the season back in March. And they had to win yesterday against Troy just to get here. took care of business as the 8 seed over the 9 seed. Winner of this game will play the winner of Southern Miss and South Alabama tonight's nightcap. Full count to the 9-hole hitter, Platt.
Noble able to work her way back into this one from inside the circle. We're truly seeing a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
The payoff pitch. And did not swing on the appeal, ball 4.
That's met with some mixed reactions there from the crowd. I feel we can either hear from both dugouts or what's happening in the stands.
I think they missed that one. We'll see if ULM can capitalize on it.
Yeah, her barrel there pretty much almost going to contact, it looked like.
Here's Lippert, grounded out to the left side. Puts down the bunt, that's a tough hop. But nothing Brooke Otto can't handle. Successful sacrifice. Moves Platt down to second. 1 away.
Hey, for Otto, that's just part of the job. Make sure you're getting out so the bunts go down. That'll advance the runner, though, so Platt now at 2.
That gives way to Megan Brown, who reached on an infield error back in the first. One of 2 runners left on that inning. We'll note Platt this year is 8 for 9 in stolen bases. Don't expect her to be going here. She'll keep the attention of Marceau behind the plate.
Megan Brown, of course, part of that lethal sister duo, swinging a clean 320 coming in here.
Punched out towards left, coming in, able to make the catch on the run is Norwood. 2 away.
Norwood making it look easy out and left, coming in on the ball. She easily identifies that it is coming low in the zone. A bit of a pop there.
And that'll give way to Morgan Brown in the 3-hole. 0 for 1 today with a fly out to right.
Does make it easier to tell the two apart when they're working from different sides of the batter's box, huh, there, Lincoln?
Well, this is where, again, I trust our crew, but there's a chance they took some shortcuts and just copied and pasted that graphic and changed some of the numbers. Brown gets around on this one, but Morgan pulls it foul.
Her swing almost feels like it's lightning in a bottle. You can tell that there's just so much charge, so much energy, and you're waiting for her to connect.
In back-to-back years, first team all-conference for the redshirt sophomore. Potential go-ahead run, standing on second. The count 2-1.
Brown having 39 RBI coming into this game, someone that could easily get it done at the plate.
In this last weekend, Warhawks clinched a share of the title in Game 2 thanks to a double play to end a 1-0 game. And then between the doubleheader, the team watched the final out of JMU Marshall, in which that cemented ULM as the outright regular season champion. And the intentional pitch out for the final ball that will put Brown on. Not always easy to do here in softball. Not a lot of people just play pitch and catch underhanded. Some really good pitchers have struggled with that intentional pitch out.
Well, we've even seen moments when hitters will catch on to what's happening. They'll try to adjust and hit it.
Well, in Oklahoma City last year,
yeah.
Reese Atwood saw one that was left a little too close Allison Habits is going to come out. As ULM threatening, remember, all the Louisiana fans are mindful. They don't think Karis Platt should be on the base paths right now. They thought she went around for strike 3, but instead she's standing in scoring position with Brown behind her. Both have reached on free passes. With 2 outs, Olivia Faggard, who singled in the first, her only hit today for ULM. And Allison Habits already in the School Hall of Fame. Mentioned for her student athlete days, now in her 2nd year at the helm of Louisiana. The theme this week, Golden Tempo, inspired by the Kentucky Derby winner, although they're not interested in coming from behind.
Yeah.
They were front runners yesterday. ULM, though, with a chance to inch ahead here. With 2 outs, 2 on.
Nice deployment there by Noble with the off-speed pitch, doing so in order to get a first pitch strike.
Fifth batter of this inning, the cleanup hitter Faggard. That was a good pitch, just could not get enough behind it. Instead, out of the inning, stranding a pair. The threat over onto the top of the 4th, and a scoreless affair here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Sunbelt tournaments return to Lafayette this year after Troy, the great host, last year. But again, Louisiana in 30 tournaments has just a total of 11 losses to show for it all. 75 wins along the way. They know how to get into championship finals. They have lifted the trophy 18 times with it. The automatic bid punched into the NCAA tournament, out of the conference. Coastal Carolina moving up the ranks in win percentage. Again, they're on a 6-game winning streak dating back to last year's 4-day run, and 2 more yesterday and today.
That's a team that can win in a slew of ways. They always find opportunities to get on base and capitalize, and I think they're going to continue that momentum throughout the tournament here.
For ULM, obviously this year's regular season champion made sense as part of the evolution from the momentum they built last year, when maybe they were almost a little ahead of schedule. That one NCAA tournament appearance out of the Southland back in 1997. Seeing if they can't take advantage of being the #1 seed. Just the way it happens to go is you're the #1 seed, but here you are on the road, though in the home dugout, against your rival. And there's something to be said for having already gotten a game and a win under your belt. That one above the belt, line drive for the out to the glove of Carter as Haley Hart retired.
Hart doing the best that she could to adjust to that off-speed pitch there, just pretty much working the contact, but still sending it with some strength over the glove of Carter.
I was told I would not be on camera again for the rest of the day. Vasquez, first pitch over to Yansky across the diamond, 2 away.
Well, these bats are trying to be a little aggressive early since they haven't found too much success against Ashanti McDade. Somebody who just continues to elevate and present a challenge.
Here's Mia Norwood, one of the Louisiana batters who hit one off McDade. So it got to Morgan Brown quickly enough at second to retire Norwood to lead off that second inning. Got the bunt down, McDade able to defend her own circle. So 3 outs all in the infield. McDade able to record the third and final one. That's a perfect 4th inning for the regular season champs. Which of these two teams will have the breakthrough moment? We get deeper and deeper into this game, and all of a sudden you give up a run, you might not have a chance to answer. Though in ULM, your regular season champions get to bat last today, just as they did all 3 games during the regular season when they truly hosted this rivalry matchup. Zenzen awaiting the first pitch here in the 4th inning from Noble.
Zenzen wasn't able to get a good piece of the ball the last time that she was at the plate in the 1st inning. A little pop fly out to second base.
Zenzen, Yansky, and Carter, the 3 due up, 0 for 3 today. This will hang up there long enough for Haley Hart. No need to make a throw. One away.
Hart continuing to show why she's a diamond standard, not just when she's in the batter's box, but also out there with her fielding abilities, being able to make that grab on the run.
Yansky lined out to the shortstop Liscano to lead off the 2nd inning, 0 for 1 today, as time called by Noble. And you see all those championships over her shoulder. Texas State and Coastal Carolina already winners today. They are on a collision course in our first semifinal tomorrow, currently scheduled for 3 o'clock Central on ESPN Plus tomorrow. So on back towards center field, side of the warning track is where it's squeezed in by Deja Williams, 2 outs.
Yansky there with a solid load, able to adjust the plane of her swing to get a nice launch angle to send that one pretty deep. However, that's going to result in second out.
And these two teams have combined for 3 hits so far. Liscano has both of Louisiana's singles. Olivia Faggard has the lone hit for ULM. See if Elle Carter can extend this inning. She can. They'll limit her to 1 bag. This 4th inning continues.
This is exactly what ULM needs right now. They need to get a runner on, and we've seen it time and time again here in the tournament, Lincoln. A lot can happen with 2 outs.
That is an infield single for Elle Carter. Gives way to Kelsey Kovar, who struck out looking to end the 2nd inning. Shot out towards left, but right to Norwood. So ULM finds their 2nd hit of the game, but with 2 outs, couldn't do much with it. As Noble faces just 1 more than the minimum in the 4th. We have played 4, still scoreless. Battle of the pitchers here in the Battle on the Bayou. Well, pitchers duel brewing. Shanti McDade and Beth Noble. See their numbers so far. And if style points are the tiebreaker, this one's over.
Hey, I love that though. Softball, you can't take yourself too seriously. You need to have some fun. It's a mental sport, so you need to be able to separate those aspects as you get ready to refresh and go back in.
I mean, that's fantastic. That is your starting pitcher who's still in the game. And boy, is she ever still in the game. Bottom 3rd of the order here for Louisiana begins with Maddie Manning. Again, one of the changes from yesterday's lineup. Over at first base, 0 for 1 today. Manning hitting .235 on the year. Home run and 10 RBI. In her first year at Louisiana since coming over from LSU. It was a 3 up, 3 down 4th inning for McDade in the circle. Louisiana has hit several balls right back up the middle at her.
The 2 arms in this game truly have been excellent. We saw some of the stats side by side already from what's actively happening in this matchup. only allowing 2 hits each of the arms.
And Warhawks knocked out in the semifinal last year against JMU. Just trying to get back to the semifinal if they can survive this rivalry clash today. Over the left side, Yansky has to sit back. Still plenty of arm to get the out.
McDade is truly trusting the defense behind her here. They've been consistently putting the ball in play, but she does her best to ensure that she's stealing a little bit of that power, not giving them something that they can truly barrel up and square up on.
Yeah, we've only seen 1 strikeout between the 2 pitchers today. Here's Michaela Ferguson, another one of the changes in today's lineup. First pitch she sees, that's a fair ball over to Yansky. To Fager, 2 away.
Well, McDade is making sure that they're staying pretty busy over at third there for Yansky. Plenty coming her way.
Trying to get out of the 5th inning with just a little over 50 pitches. Here's Deja Williams. Grounded out to the right side to lead off the 3rd inning.
And McDade just does a phenomenal job of making sure she's keeping bats inconsistent when it comes to getting around on pitches that are in close to the hands, or maybe trying to throw them off a little bit on the outer half.
Junior out of Alexandria here in Louisiana. Slightly fewer boas in the opposing dugout. Right bat at McDade. Thou shalt not pass. It's another 3-up, 3-down inning for Shanti McDade and your regular season champions. Can they land the opening blow as we get to the latter innings? We are being treated to quite the display, both in the circle and in the crowd. This is true home field advantage.
Oh, it definitely is. I feel like we should try to follow along here, Lincoln.
Don't follow your lead. Ouch. The stress not getting to the fans. And we saw probably that trickles down from their starting pitcher's mindset, who has removed all feathers, back in the circle.
Yeah, switching out the party hat for the game face, getting back in the circle.
Back to Karis Platt, who walked. That ball finds the barrel of her bat for a cheap strike. She walked to lead off the 3rd inning. Noble lived to tell about it, as they would strand 2 individuals who walked that inning. ULM has now left 5 on. Louisiana's left 3 on. And big thanks to everybody here in the community who's helped make this event possible, along with the Sun Belt and Louisiana. Just a great experience for all these student athletes and the visiting fans.
been a fun ride already, but I know we still got a few games to go, so we're gearing up, excited to see what happens at the end of this event.
The 2-1 to Platt. Puts the bunt down. This time it's Noble's turn to try to field the circle. Can't get the out. Platt is on for a second time today, both times leading off an inning.
All right, this is the energy that you need. Let's see if they can capitalize. For ULM, they currently rank 10th in batting when it comes to the Sun Belt Conference, the batting average for the team of 279. So getting on base in any way that you can, trying to keep the defense guessing is going to be key to push a run across.
I'm scoring that infield single, and sure enough it is. There's Brooklyn Lippert, top of the order. Had a sac bunt her last time up after Platt reached on a leadoff walk. And you never know, one run could be all it takes today.
Was a key to today's game, making sure that ULM is able to pass the bat around. Let's see if they can fire on all cylinders. These pitchers, man, they're really dialing in.
Molly Fichtner wants to talk things over with Brooklyn Lippert here with a runner on, nobody out. And an 0-2 count right now.
We know that Noble switched out the party hat, but I like that she was still jamming a little bit while she was in the circle, staying loose, staying upbeat. I feel like when you're playing loose, playing free, that's when the best can happen. So when you get tense, that's when you can start to make a few mistakes or maybe not necessarily do the little things right.
ULM won 19 games, again a program record in the Sun Belt this year, but it's all about going 3-0 this week in Lafayette. For the #1 seed, if they want to sleep easy the night before the committee makes the decision of who is in, with regionals getting underway next weekend. And last year is Coastal Carolina as the automatic bid winner out of the Sun Belt. That was shipped off to the campus of Duke in Durham, North Carolina. Lippert, no balls, 2 strikes to her name with a runner on. Up the middle, chance for 2, and they'll come away with none. That ball skirts into the shallow grass of left field, and brave enough is Platt to take an extra 60 feet. ULM, for the first time, has a potential runner 60 feet away.
Heads up base running there by Platt. We can see they're trying to make the toss with the backhand. Unable to do so is hard. That's going to open the door, and Platt is going to steamroll right through it. Now we have runners on corners.
But how many of us with a loose ball in left field has the belief in our speed that we can get from second to third before we are hosed for the first out? Runners on the corners, nobody out here.
Finding ways to be aggressive. This is what ULM is striving to do and executing.
Megan Brown reached on an error back in the first. Retired on a fly out to left in the third. Karis Platt, leadoff single on third. And a visit to the circle. Let's see if that does it. It is. For the first time today, we will have a pitching change. Scoreless ball game. Louisiana would like to keep it that way. A great start from Noble, but she will give way to Julianne Tipton, the sophomore. I'll introduce you to the transfer from Arizona State when you rejoin us here in Lafayette. First arm out of the bullpen is Julian Tipton, who, boy, she has been seeing some more important innings pitched as of late. Has really come through. Recently had a good weekend against South Alabama, and here you are. And you never know if this is the last day that the Ragin' Cajuns compete this year. Their next last probably is the punctuation on 2026. Julianne Tipton comes in just trying to keep this game scoreless with runners on the corners, nobody out in the bottom of the fifth against, oh, by the way, the in-state rival ULM.
Julianne Tipton has been putting in the work this season. She completely overhauled how she threw back in 2024, 2025, making some adjustments as well. But here this season, really implementing some of that off speed. We've seen a couple of different looks with some breaking balls. So this is a moment that she's ready to meet.
Platt had the infield single. She's on third. Lippert able to reach on a fielder's choice when they were hoping to start a double play. But no outs to show for it. 2 runners on. And it's going to be the Brown sisters, Megan and Morgan, the first 2 to face Julianne Tipton. Just one at a time, though.
Hey, for ULM, these are some bats that you want to be seeing come up to the plate, no down, runners on the corners. This could be the opportunity for one of the Browns.
Julianne Tipton probably still has some clothing that looks like ULM wardrobe from her time at Arizona State. Of course, she was in the Big 12 last year as a Sun Devil.
All right, starting off strong there, working with a first pitch strike, not easy to do in this situation.
Third batter of the inning, the first to face Tipton in relief. Right side. They will tag the batter. That is the best possible scenario. Well done by Manning, mind you. Was not in the lineup yesterday, but the first baseman knows that the runner, best thing to do is tag. And Habits wants the runner that went from first to second to have to go back to first because she believes the batter retreated, which would freeze all runners. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a valid claim that you should still have runners on the corners there.
I would definitely agree with that statement, but
the moment she tries to avoid that tag, she goes backwards. And the difference is 60 feet. A double play doesn't get you out of the inning right now with that runner moving down to second. Umpires will confer. Remember, Louisiana was unsuccessful earlier on a challenge on an out at first. The batter heading down to first at no point can retreat. You can either freeze or advance. If you retreat, all runners have to return to their original base. At the moment, the umpires ruling on the field was the batter did not retreat. I'll confer to see if anybody saw otherwise before perhaps taking this under a review.
The call on the field is that there's no batter-runner interference. Louisiana would like to challenge that call. This play is under further review.
So obviously, again, it was a heads-up play by Manning. You don't go to first because you have to make sure that runner does not come home, but you have the benefit of also knowing that you've got the batter right there in front of you to get the sure out on your way to the plate. And when we talk about batter-runner interference, that is just the overarching umbrella in which the rule falls for not going backwards.
well, in just a few short moments, I think we're going to have our answer here. But when you're in Louisiana, you're just trying to make sure that you're squashing any opportunities, trying to put out any flames that ULM could.
This is not the most egregious example. So if you're in Monroe, you are screaming, absolutely, she did not go backwards. If you're in Lafayette and for some reason aren't sitting in the venue, you're thinking, absolutely, she went backwards. You wouldn't be surprised if the call just stands, but I do believe there's enough there to see that when she, at the last second, I don't know why you try to avoid that tag at the last second, but she knew initially to freeze, but just could not help herself at the very end here.
Yeah, it felt like her momentum just jumping back.
Spectator the rest of the day. Not our review official, by the way. Though she's got some free time.
I didn't register the glasses were in on this too. I noticed the wig and the hat.
I don't shame people for their eyesight. All right, under review. We'll see how this plays out. There will be one out no matter what. It's just a matter of whether the runner on second has to go back to first. We are still scoreless in the bottom of the fifth. Two programs that know each other so well, two, again, coaches who know each other well.
I think it's a good time for everyone to hit pause, talk about a few things. This is a pretty tension-filled point within the game. ULM closing in on an opportunity. Louisiana wanting to ensure that it doesn't happen. So everyone's going to take advantage of this brief timeout.
All right, let's get our answer. Where does that runner on second belong?
After further review, the call on the field has been confirmed. The runner did not step back before the tag was applied. The runners will stay at second and third, and we will have one out, and that is Louisiana's second challenge.
I don't think that's shocking. A little surprised it was confirmed. But again, not the most egregious example. And as a result, two runners in scoring position. And a big opportunity here with one out for ULM to strike first.
Well, even with one down, when this brings up Morgan Brown, ULM feels like they're in a pretty good spot.
And Tipton came in. The first batter she faced was Megan Brown. And they're going to load the bases. I mentioned, look, in baseball, it is a lot easier to intentionally walk someone, not only because you can point and say go to first, but when you grow up playing catch, soft tossing, that's overhand. Fast pitch pitchers, it is not the easiest thing just to play catch.
Hey, and you know these base runners are chomping at the bit to move forward on the chance of a wild pitch, so they are ready to go, both Platt and Lipper.
So bases, we anticipate, are about to be loaded with one out, which will create, again, a force everywhere in the infield and possibly even a double play opportunity with Olivia Faggard coming to the plate. For the longest time, she had the only hit this ball game for ULM. Ball four.
Well, I'm sure Morgan Brown wanted to hit, but she is pretty excited about it. Bases are now loaded.
Well, I think she lets Faggard know you should take this personally. They wanted to walk me to get to you. A leadoff single for Karis Platt. That was an infield base hit. The fielder's choice that allowed Lipper to reach when they tried to turn a double play. And Morgan Brown loads the bases after the intentional walk. It's been nothing but zeros posted in both halves of the scoreboard so far. Will ULM push across the first run or perhaps a handful of runs?
Good work by Faggard to take back the control and the momentum. Saw a minute there, Tipton with some hesitation.
Well, and Tipton's indicating there's a communication issue. As you know, they're used to getting that good Wi-Fi signal from the home dugout.
Yeah, never had to worry about technology when I was on the field. Just took a look down at the wrist and.
Yeah, in theory, her wristwatch just tells her the pitch and the location. No need to go through a menu anymore. Bases loaded for Faggard here in the bottom of the fifth in a scoreless ball game with one out. ULM fans looking for a reason to be heard in this sea of red. 2-0 count to Olivia Faggard, the cleanup hitter. Platt, Lippert, and Morgan Brown have loaded the bases with 1 out. There's your first strike.
Faggard nods her head, says, yeah, you got it there. That's in the zone. She's going to be patient and extremely selective and not waste this opportunity at the plate.
Third batter, Tipton, has faced in relief for the starter, Noble. Back-to-back strikes.
Ballpark's getting loud. Everyone's excited to see what happens here with the 2-2 count.
Warhawks with a big opportunity here in the home half of the 5th. They have a force available to them, not in time. Everybody's safe. Did not need the tag applied, simply needed ball and glove before Platt reached the plate. ULM able to land the opening blow and still threatening.
Wasn't able to get a good piece of that one, just on the end of the bat, but amazing work by Platt, hustling all the way down to home.
Brooke Otto, everything about her body made it look like she was going to first, but still throws just about a bullet on target at home. There's no reason to deceive anybody where you're going with that, but it's incredible that she made it as close as it was. So they were determined to get the lead out, obviously, to keep it scoreless. They can't do so. Platt has scored. And there's still just 1 out. Bases are still loaded. As Faggard reaches on the fielder's choice. ULM feeling right at home in the Lafayette dugout as your regular season champions in your #1 seed this week. They'd like to stick around. Holly Thomas will well, let's see, we had an announcement, but no, yeah. Zen will give way for Holly Thomas here, the sophomore from Liberty, Texas.
You see there that Tipton is going to change the speed there for a second to deliver the first pitch strike.
Thomas with some pretty good numbers to bring off the bench after Zinzin was 0 for 2 today. Bases still loaded. This one out towards right, caught, but heading in the wrong direction. That's going to easily allow Lippert to come home. And Brown down to third.
Talk about coming in clutch here for Holly Thomas, really putting the effort in, seizing an elevated pitch in the zone, able to get her hands up and around it. Nice sacrifice fly, great stop by Ferguson out and right.
That's one of those in foul territory, you let it drop, but obviously no choice for Ferguson but to make that catch. And now you've got runners on the corners with 2 outs. ULM has scored twice here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Carson Yansky, first pitch she sees over towards Ferguson. That will end the inning, and what an inning it was. ULM finally with the first 2 runs to cross the plate as they have given Ashanti McDade insurance to work with heading into the top of the 6th.
The heart of Louisiana's Cajun and Creole country, a melting pot of generations passing along a recipe of joie de vivre. Live music, boiled crawfish, and the smell of gumbo signify the season. This is Lafayette, a parish filled with culture and hospitality unlike any other. It takes more than a quick visit to understand why we're the happiest city in America. Start planning yours. Allons à Lafayette.
Credit Union One, a proud sponsor of the Sunbelt Conference, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking and an expansive network of 130,000 10,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com.
The 2026 Sunbelt Softball Championship is brought to you by SoldOut.com, the official ticket resale marketplace for the Sunbelt Conference. By Visit Pensacola. Credit Union One. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com. Experience the new era of ticketing with Vivenue, the official ticketing platform of the Sunbelt. And by Visit Lafayette. Enter for a chance to win a getaway to Lafayette, Louisiana. Enter now at sunbeltsports.org. ULM able to plate the first 2 runs in the bottom half of the 5th. All of a sudden, Louisiana down to their final 6 outs in front of the friendly confines here. As you take a look, it's great pitching from both sides. UL finally had to dip into the bullpen, bringing Tipton in for Noble. 7 batters came to the plate in that 5th inning for the Warhawks. And for the first time today, Ashanti McDade gets to throw a pitch with a lead. And she's back to the top of the order for Louisiana. This one, you get the feelings far from over. Here's Kennedy Marceau for a 3rd time today. Again, the next 4 batters are all conference standouts for the Ragin' Cajuns. Marceau, Liscano, Otto, and Hart.
McDade has accomplished so much within the circle throughout this game, so her offense wanted to back her up, and that they did. Now up 2-0.
Yeah, she was happily idle, though featherless, in that dugout, watching her teammates produce a couple of runs.
Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes as well.
Senior in her first and final year with the Warhawks, trying to be a difference maker. First team all-conference since coming over from Cal. Carter, not enough arm to beat the speed of Marceau, and that means the tying run comes to the plate.
And that one, Marceau just topped the ball, didn't really get a good point of contact with it. However, Louisiana, I mean, they're going to try to turn up the heat now. They have to. We're getting into the final stages of this one.
Just the 3rd hit today for Louisiana. The other 2 belong to this woman, Mia Liscano, with a single in the 1st and the 3rd.
Mia Liscano just able to adjust so quickly when she's in the batter's box. She sees the ball very well. Always bringing a disciplined approach, especially in this one when her team needs it.
Marceau on first. And Louisiana again trailing by a pair, still thinks you can chip away at this game. Obviously when you bunt, if you do it right, you're not just giving yourself up for a cheap out. You're still putting pressure on the other defense. Might very well find yourself running on the base pass. Or at the very least trying to move Marceau into scoring position and remove the threat of a traditional double play. This is the top 3rd of the order, facing McDade for a 3rd time. The 0-2 to Mia. I mean, just look at the pitch count for Ashanti, how efficient she's been today. Again, she's not tried to be a strikeout pitcher. She hasn't struck out anybody. A lot of ground outs and some pop outs, handful of line outs. Her defense has been up to the task.
She's trying to make sure that if you make contact, it's not solid and it's going down in the dirt, and that's continued to pay dividends.
And Brooke Otto on deck. Liscano right now with a 1-2 count to her name with Marceau, the run on first. Third game of the day on this diamond, and one more to come later tonight. Southern Miss, South Alabama, the 4 versus 5 seed matchup. McDade again with the 1-2 to Liscano. And just a little safe swing there from Mia. Get a piece of it.
She's going to stay aggressive yet selective, able to get a little something on it, just trying to unironically play defense while she's there in the box, maybe fight off a few things until she gets something that she likes.
Two and two. We just take for granted that Mia's batting better than 400 this year. And 2 more singles today. Up the average to 413. She'll put down the bunt. Could be trouble. They will get the lead out. In a way, that's the saving grace that there was a base runner, as ULM was not going to be able to get Lascano at first, but they do get Marceau at second. Works out well for the #1 seed. Lascano's on the bases for a 3rd time, but this time via the fielder's choice, 1 away.
That has to feel good for Ashanti McDade. Feels as though Lascano, has consistently put the ball in play, now able to induce some weak contact and get an out on the board.
And Brooke Otto was hit by a pitch in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd. And tore her ACL in that fall of 2024 before last season. Still wears that brace on her left knee. Raging Cajun third baseman. Trying to help move Lascano around.
This is a big opportunity for these bats at the top of the lineup. They welcome the pressure. They say it's a privilege. Now it's just time to execute.
Lofted out to center, that hangs up there for Lippert, 2 away.
Nice read by Lippert, almost feels routine, has to move her feet a little bit. A nice liner courtesy of Otto. Just always unfortunate when you're able to square up on it, just going into the glove of one of the defenders.
I mean, overwhelmingly, the outs have been recorded in the infield today by Louisiana, the way McDade's been pitching. Here's Haley Hart. 0 for 2 with a pop out and line out. In 2nd team all conference and your freshman of the year. See if she can come up with another big moment in her first collegiate season.
Has had some hard contact in this game. We saw the line out to shortstop in her previous at bat, and pop fly earlier in her first at bat, but she's had some time to continue to watch McDade, see what she goes to, what she's done in different situations, and try to put that knowledge into play.
She's the tying run at the plate with 9 home runs this year. Rips that one foul.
So impressive for McDade, continuously staying ahead in the count more oftentimes than not.
Couple of all-conference standouts battling here. The 1-2. And Hart not helping out McDade. McDade already a complete game victory this year. This one will be trouble, gets down and left, but because it's hit into left, the runner Lascano has to hold at second. But there are 2 on with 2 out. Tying run is on the base paths for Louisiana.
We know the phrase, a single gets the job done. Phenomenal work there by Hart, putting on display what she's continued to do all season long. Have that tight, compact swing, stay explosive, and send the ball deep into the field.
All right, now time for the DP, Cecilia Vasquez. Louisiana with 1 out to work with here in the 6th. And presumably we'll see them again in the 7th with 3 more outs. ULM finally plated the first runs of this game just this last half inning in the bottom of the 5th. Fair ball, just need to touch third to get out of the inning. Raging Cajuns strand their 4th and 5th runners of the day. ULM, they hope one final time, grabbing their bats, looking to add to a 2-run lead here in their first day in the championship tournament. ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. You can stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB.tv. Lincoln Rose, along with, let me know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Jenna Rose. Great to have you with us. Day 2 of the tournament here. As again, crunch time, and ULM pad their lead. We did see one come back earlier today, but Texas State had the benefit of being the home team after they turned the table on JMU, who led the bulk of that contest 2-0.
Louisiana's window of opportunity is starting to come to a close here. After they get out of this, it's only going to be 3 more outs.
Julian Tipton came in, faced 5 batters in relief in the 5th. 1 run was earned, 1 run was unearned. I don't think anybody in this venue is caring one iota about earned runs or unearned runs. They just see a 2 spot on the board. And ULM trying to grow that lead here. And El Carter singled most recently back in the 4th. Able to put the bunt down, put the pressure on. Can she beat it out? She does, an infield single. Her 2nd hit of the day.
It feels like the Warhawks have had this new-found energy that they're able to implement into their game, getting on in any ways that you can. But let's take a look at this one there. That was pretty close.
I think Louisiana is out of challenges. The umpires could always initiate it. Don't think they're inclined to. On a close call, Molly Fickner is going to move some pieces around here. Let's see who's batting for Kelsey Kovar.
Well, it's a hard balance to strike. Do you want to use those up at the beginning of a big game or save them for maybe these latter moments where it could really count?
I have a pinch hitter for ULM to face Julian Tipton. Kaylee Monsef, the freshman out of Pearland, Texas. Greater Houston area will get the opportunity here.
Very big opportunity here for the freshman. That means that they put a lot of trust in her at this time. Even though they're up by 2, they really need to pad that score. What
skill set are they looking for here with a runner on first? She is not going to square around. 0-1.
Going to take a moment, make sure that she understands what the coach is calling.
Show me the signs again, Coach. I think I got it this time, and I have a feeling it involved. And that barrel squared around. Good old-fashioned tell me words in my ear. And 2-run ball game. Those 2 runs came last inning for ULM. Now, presumably, when you bring in the pinch hitter, they've already been given the message of why they're coming in to the ball game.
But what I love from Coach is that she's smiling the whole time. I mean, I think it'd be pretty easy for this stage, this type of game, maybe be a little frustrated or think that something's up, but we see where the defense is. They're crashing in. That's up to the freshman to make something happen.
And no outs here in the 6th. The runner on first is El Carter. Now, we don't know if she actually is in there to bunt, but sometimes you might as well just stay squared around and make sure you get contact. But she's going to chop this one over the right side, over the shoulder, and Manning doing what she can, gets the out while Carter moves down to 2nd. It's not officially a sacrifice bunt, but it accomplishes the same. Nice work by Monsef.
Exactly. She did what she was supposed to set out to do. Move the runner. Simple as that.
All right, we were scoreless until last inning. Karis Platt crossed home plate after her leadoff single. Second straight inning, she comes up to the plate. She has walked and singled today, scoring the first of the 2 runs last inning. And with throw over to first, they'll get the out. Best case scenario, Carter had to stay glued to second base to a win.
Got a bit of a replay here for you. Slapping that over to the shortstop, fires it across over to 1. I mean, it's exciting when it gets down to this moment that they're so close every time they try to get down, but the team's arms are working overtime.
Well, and here's the difference. We've had 2 bang-bang plays, one that's gone each way of these 2 teams. The difference is ULM has a challenge here after Louisiana's been unsuccessful on 2 today. As ULM wants them to take a look to see if Platt actually got that second bag first.
It's a smart choice, and when we've seen these situations arise in the past, it gives the fielders, the hitters, everyone to have another opportunity to sit down and chat.
There's a good chance you're going to have 2 on with 1 out. And we can confidently say she never went backwards.
We can't confidently say that in blazing speed all the way over to first.
She has a track background based on the way she crossed this finish line. This should be a quick review. And ULM should have 2 on with 1 out in a moment. Ruling on the field was out. There's a chance El Carter, who reached on the leadoff single, might have been out. Louisiana with no reviews remaining. Challenges. There are some Warhawk fans who don't remember a time when the Warhawks hadn't won a regular season championship. Let's see if this is good news for your regular season champs.
After further review, the call in the field will stand. The runner is out at first base. That is ULM's first challenge.
Louisiana likes it.
Yeah. Nope, they are pretty happy about that.
Again, the ball doesn't have to be all the way into the pocket of the glove. But boy, it looked like, at least the angles we saw, and that Platt beat ball to glove. Here's Brooklyn Lippert. She was the last batter that Noble faced in her start. Lippert would go on to score last inning the 2nd run. And a foul ball when it's gloved by Otto. Carter still the runner on second. Louisiana can focus on just getting the final out at the plate. They'll be down to their final 3 outs.
I know we've had some close calls at first base today, but for Brooklyn Lippert, if she's just able to get her bat on it, she has blazing speed, already 11 stolen bases headed into this tournament. So she has the wheels. Hopefully she can set the table. Down and away there for Tipton. She really just wants to try and work on that outer half, not give Lippert an opportunity. Louisiana is eager to get back to having the bats.
And you see El Carter bouncing around and screaming back and forth off of second base, hoping that Lippert can bring her home for a 3rd run. Over the past 2 innings, we were scoreless until the bottom of the 5th. ULM finally able to strike for 2. Two on with 2 out. Lippert able to reach.
ULM, they've just really been able to hit the gas here in the later stages of the game, similar to what we saw with Texas State, just trying to get the wheels turning, make some action happen, and so far that has been the case. And of course, you have to bust a move here and there.
All sorts of conversations going on. Morgan Brown intentionally walked the last time up, has walked twice today, 0 for 1 with a flyout. Up the middle and through. Warhawks have insurance and looking to make it 2. It's 4-0 with 2 more threatening in scoring position with 2 outs. Carter comes home after her leadoff single.
Amazing work by Megan Brown there. She's able to send it hard to the dirt, right back up the middle. Squeezing right by Tipton. Hard to react as you're delivering.
I said 2 more, just 1 more comes home as Carter comes home. Runners on 3rd and 2nd now. Louisiana hoping to get that 3rd out, but gonna have another fast-paced trip to the circle.
Especially with a bat like Morgan Brown's. Makes sense they're gonna come in and try to work through a few things. What's the game plan? How do we need to react?
Body language couldn't be much different, more different between the 2 huddles. All the focus, trying to get that 3rd out here. That is not your starting pitcher for Louisiana Monroe.
No, it's not.
With the flare. And Ashanti McDade hoping to see her teammates post as big of a number as possible here with 2 outs. And she'll need to record just 3 outs. She already has 2 wins this year and a save against Louisiana back in Monroe when they met in conference play. Here's Morgan Brown with 2 outs, trying to keep the good times going.
One of the toughest outs here in the ULM lineup.
And for a 2nd time, they're going to intentionally walk her, 3rd free pass overall, assuming everything goes as planned.
Safe to say, you never know. She's aggressive. Not always easy as well to slow it down and get it out of the way. Some of these pitches are just inclined to really attack the zone here. No pass balls as well. It'd be pretty dangerous here with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
First time she and her sister will both be on the base paths together. Bases loaded with 2 outs. For ULM, looking to put this one to bed. And Olivia Faggard again comes up to the plate with bases loaded, just as she did last inning.
Fitting that walking out is playing across the ballpark.
It's a neutral site.
Yeah, neutral site.
A force anywhere ends the inning without any more damage done. Already 1 more run has scored this inning. So 3-0 ULM. There's a world where Faggard's just going to keep that bat on her back shoulder until she has 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Daring them to walk her and bring another run home. Snagged at 3rd. They get the tag in time, but that again will bring them in to the top of the 7th in a 3-run affair. Louisiana hosting, but down to their final 3 outs. Seventh inning, 3-run ball game. All 3 runs belong to Ashanti McDade and ULM, your regular season champions for the first time in school history in the Sun Belt, hoping to claim the automatic bid to their first NCAA tournament since 1997. It is a championship Ashanti McDade just has to take our word for, as she already has a complete game victory this year against Louisiana, also has an additional victory and a save against them in that weekend series, was a factor in all 3 games. A couple times in relief. Needs 3 outs before conceding 3 runs to put it into this one. Here's Mia Norwood.
Prior to entering this game, Ashanti McDade had 136 innings of work in and had struck out 73 over the course of that time. So really you can see without this, her Harden, we can see throughout this game that she's working in a lot of soft contact. There we go.
Again, has not struck out a batter today. Two and one. Norwood, Manning, and Ferguson, a combined 0 for 6 today against the starter for ULM. Snagged by Yansky and throw across. Louisiana down to their final 2 outs.
Nice work there on the left side of the field. They're moving fast, backing up one another. Here we have the moment that chopper sails through. Carter makes the snag and the throw.
Yeah, pass Yansky over to L. Carter, 1 away.
McDade continuing to make the defense work, and it's, well, working.
First pitch to Manning. And we were scoreless going into the bottom of the 5th. ULM able to plate a pair. They added 1 more in the 6th. Warhawks have stranded 10, but they've scored the only 3 runs today. And Warhawks in a game where they only have 5 hits have stranded 10 runners. A lot of that has been as of late with bases loaded. Louisiana has left 5 on. Winner of this game plays in tomorrow night's 2nd semifinal, scheduled for 6 o'clock Central Time, against the winner of our nightcap tonight, Southern Miss in South Alabama. Louisiana trying to take advantage, despite being the 8th seed, of hosting the tournament this week. Try to find a path to a 34th NCAA postseason, but they're now down to their final out, perhaps here in 2026.
Ashanti McDade has continued to apply the pressure and continues to do so on the outer half of the plate.
That's her biggest strikeout of the day. Here's Michaela Ferguson.
All comes down to 1, having some conversations there with head coach.
A couple of ground outs for Ferguson. Again, didn't get the start yesterday. Was one of a couple of adjustments here today, along with Manning. There's a chance this has nothing to do with softball. Lots of smiles out there with Faggard, Brown, and McDade in enemy territory, despite being the #1 seed. We've already seen the #2 seed go down. Marshall and that offense of theirs, along with the player of the year, held scoreless by Coastal Carolina, the 10 seed, trying to do it again this year. On the other half of the bracket, you have the top seed trying to hold form here against their rival, upset-minded Louisiana. But an out away from extinguishing the threat.
Unable to get a good piece of it there was Ferguson. Truly just comes down to this: 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Your mindset for Louisiana, Ferguson gets on, you have Williams behind you, then all of a sudden you have 4 all-conference players in the wings. Count will stay at 1 and 2.
Bringing in the right mentality, trying to stay alive, and that's all she can do.
With 2 outs, nobody on. In the 7th inning, what a time for back-to-back strikeouts for Shanti McDade. Her first 2 strikeouts of the day proved to be the punctuation as #1 seed ULM will end the run of Louisiana here in Lafayette as the Warhawks marching on into the semifinals tomorrow.
Ashanti McDade had put up an absolute stellar game. We've seen a lot of that soft contact, some groundouts, maybe a few flyouts here and there, maybe some barrels getting around it, but her defense putting in the work behind her, truly coming in clutch with the back-to-back strikeouts to close this one out, and doing so in a fierce manner.
Warhawks swept the weekend series this year in Monroe against Louisiana. Today's win all the more sweeter as one of these teams would move on, the other one likely would see their season come to an end. Your regular season champions still in contention for a tournament title and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. They'll await the winner of the nightcap tonight to know who they will play next in tomorrow's semifinals. We'll step aside for Jenna Rose. I'm Lincoln Rose. Big thanks to our entire crew. Let's do it one more time. Southern Miss, South Alabama, you're on the clock next.